So my name is Sherri Madison. I am the Senior Director for Planning and Operations in our Data Center Group Sales Organization. Been at Intel for 23 and a half years, and I've been involved in all kinds of things from a diversity and inclusion perspective, because what I truly believe is it's about the people, more so than the charter or the strategy. People are really what make a company excel. And so if the people don't feel good inside the company, then I don't think you're going to succeed long term. So diversity and inclusion is a way to get us there. Diversity and inclusion has never been my main job at Intel. It has always been sort of, these are the things that I'm doing on the side. I've mentored a lot of people over the years, and I've also had the benefit of being sponsored and mentored by people. My very first manager at Intel, within the first year of me joining her organization and coming into the company, she was having these discussions with other senior female leaders about, hey, we need a women's group at Intel. And at that point in time, we did have some affinity groups or employee resource groups at the time. In fact, the network of Intel African Americans was up and running and in place. But she saw this need, and some of her peers saw the need for putting together a group for women as well, because women were in very short supply at this high-tech company. And so I was there from the very beginning as a very new, mid-20-something employee. And I think when I saw the power of creating that Women at Intel Network group, and how it has helped me and others along the way, I stayed connected, and I saw that being a part of these employee resource groups were a huge benefit. In fact, one of the things I can tell you is that I learned probably how to be a manager of managers through an employee resource group, because I had that opportunity to, even though this was a volunteer effort, to lead a team of people that were then leading teams within the volunteer community. And so it really benefits and helps people build real skills that benefit their career. Back in 2015, when our CEO stood up at the Consumer Electronics Show and made this big, bold statement that at Intel, we were going to meet representation for women and underrepresented minorities within 5 years, that was a big deal, but there was no way that we could have achieved that and gotten there. And we actually met the goal 2 years early, but without our employee resource group. So if you look at our Women at Intel Network group, if you look at our Intel Black Leadership Council and Network of Intel African Ancestry, and our Hispanic Leadership Council, those groups were really key in helping the corporation decide what programming was needed in order to retain and progress women and underrepresented minorities. So we have identified executive sponsors for many of our employee resource groups. That's a good place to start. It's really making sure you're building that partnership and connection with whoever your executive sponsor is. And I would give them action items to do. I would say, hey, go talk about this group with your senior leader peers that are typically majority folks. We've had some sessions with our executive leadership team because of that. So that's one way to find partners. I would say whenever you're doing events, Open that up to the broader employee base and not just to your members. One of the things that I've seen with our Network of Intel African Ancestry group is when they publicize a speaker series, we get all kinds of people from across the employee base that are coming and learning, because everybody is interested in advancing their career. And so opening that up also helps to build bridges and bring people along with you as well. What I would tell my younger self, and also what I tell my mentees today, is to get involved and to build your network. As you either move up the ladder or go further in your career, who knows you and who knows your work becomes increasingly important to finding out even about opportunities that come up or that may exist. And so I think you have to get involved, and it takes energy. So, and it's difficult in this COVID world today to stay connected with folks, but it's incredibly important. We all know that it takes work to build relationships in our personal lives. It takes that same amount of work to build and maintain relationships from a work perspective as well. So I would say get involved and make sure that you build and maintain the network. Sometimes it's easy to meet people, but it's harder to sustain the relationship over time. At the end of the day, everybody has differences. There's a quote that I love that is, "I am not different from you, I am different like you." And we should all value each other's differences.